So, I figured I'd start this a little differently because I just wanted to say this, that it was April of last year that I started TNA 2016's Let's Play series, and it was around May of last year that I started WCW 2000, this Let's Play series. The fact that both of them are only, give or take, about 25 episodes in, it shows how little I've gotten done in 12 months. And that's why I made the decision that the Slamboree pay-per-view will be the last pay-per-view in the WCW 2000 series. Now, I don't necessarily know if that's where I'm going to end, or I may do the Nitro following as well. But at this point, this is where we end. This is the last pay-per-view of this series, May week 2, and we see where it goes from there. So you can see some of the matches that are set for a month from now, and you could also see now, as we're actually at the go-home show for the pay-per-view, the matches that are set for this month's Spring Stampede pay-per-view. I know some may ask, why not go to Great American Bash? Well, simple. I don't know. So what I'm going to say is this: over the next couple of episodes, I'm going to let you decide. And how am I going to do that? By you telling me in the comment section, by you watching the video or not watching the video. That's how I'll know which to end. Because TNA is likely the other one that is coming to a close very soon, as World Class and WWF 2001 still have the doors wide open as far as booking, as far as where I can go in the future with the season. So that's what I'm going to do. And though I've been somewhat a little stressed with this season and the invasion, I want to keep doing the invasion. I want to keep going with it because I think eventually things will turn itself around. At least that's what I think. But with this one, I mean, I don't know if it's that I don't think it's going to turn itself around, or it's just the idea that it's time. That it's time to wrap things up and move on. Because after a year, because it gets to a point, as we have some backstage incidents, as DDP and Kevin Nash got into a fight, and also we have some mentor and protege actions, as Randy Savage, I don't know if I showed this or not, but I think a few months ago Randy Savage took CM Punk and Johnny the Bull Stamboli under his wing as their protege, as his protege, and now he's passing along knowledge and helping both Johnny and CM Punk, which is like more than you could ever ask for, because if you're learning from anybody, well, you know, it's good learning from a freaking icon like Randy Savage. And speaking of this being the go-home show for the pay-per-view, what better way than to kick it off with the NWO as both Scott and Kevin are finally back in with the company after serving a suspension. Yes, I'm not going to hide it. I suspended them, and unfortunately, because I suspended them, they disappeared, and also unfortunately, I don't remember why I suspended them. But what I do know is I suspended them, and that's where they've been for the last month, and why they likely will not participate in the upcoming pay-per-view. Oh, that makes sense. I had no idea Crowbar was an opener. And see, the other reason why I am leaning towards, closing the book on this season is because I just don't know what to book anymore. I just don't know what to book anymore. I know where I want to go with the feuds that are going on right now. Lex Luger and Sting, Dean and Taka, Eddie and Mike Awesome, Chronic and Filthy Animals, Hulk Hogan and the NWO, Knobs and Punk, which is a Saturday Night feud, which is the main reason why you have never seen it. And the American Nightmare and Diamond Dallas Page, I know where I want to go with these feuds. But the question is, where do I go after it? And, I guess the best way to put it is, I ran into a problem in a personal season. The problem in the personal season is, it became extremely difficult, the glass ceiling was extremely present in that season. What I mean by that is I could push people to a point, but after a certain point, it felt like people reached the glass ceiling, and it felt like people were unable to get above a certain point. And that's the reason why I feel like it may be a good idea to stop before I get frustrated. Because, with this season, much like the other season, TNA, it was just about, it was just about, it was just about progress. It was just about, building, stabilizing the company. It was just about, making the company more built for the future rather than built for the past. You know what I mean? And in doing that, I feel like, I kind of feel like that this company is in a better position than when I came here. Because they do have guys. They do have new faces. And by, because look, I'm just gonna say this. Fact of the matter is, fact of the matter is, WCW was in a very, 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 very bad place at this point. But WCW was in a bad place at this point because of previous booking. Because of the previous booking and not taking care of the future and caring about the future. But with me opening the door now and welcoming Scotty Steiner to the main event, welcoming Booker T, or building Booker T up to get him to the main event. You know, having Diamond Dallas still considered somewhat of a fresh face, and also Jeff Jarrett still considered a fresh face, somebody who hasn't feuded with Hulk Hogan or Sting or well, he has feuded with Ric Flair, but you know what I mean. Guys who you know, were nowhere. You know, and Eddie Guerrero, you know, yes, is Booker T a stable main eventer? No, he isn't. He's not a stable main eventer. He isn't a star. He isn't anything like that. But what Booker T is somebody I can build. I built Scott Steiner. I built Eddie Guerrero. I'm building Mike Awesome with the Eddie Guerrero feud, or through the Eddie Guerrero feud, or I'm going to build Mike Awesome with the Eddie Guerrero feud. You know, that's the thing, and that's where my mind is, and that's what the point was with this series. The point wasn't, oh, let's book it better than WCW was booked in real life, because to be honest, that wasn't that difficult. That wouldn't be that difficult to do. You know, it wouldn't be that difficult to book WCW better than it was in real life, because all you had to do was just try and talk guys like Perry Saturn into staying, Chris Benoit into staying, Eddie Guerrero into staying. Yes, I didn't keep Benoit. I didn't keep Perry Saturn. I signed Saturn back. But I was able to hold on to Dean Malenko. I was able to hold on to Eddie Guerrero. Because of Ted Turner, but that's not the point. The point is, Malenko went in and stabilized the Cruiserweight division. And, in my opinion, the Cruiserweight division still sucks. Because at this point, it's still Taka, Dean, and Hoovy. Much like WWE's Cruiserweight division now. But with time, it would get better. But I wasn't expecting to get to the point where I could say, okay, you know what? Let me talk about what I'm doing in the booking instead of talking about this, and let me focus on that and just talk about that later. Okay? So put a pin in it. I know I'm maybe I should just finish the thought and continue with what I was saying, but I'm not going to, and I'm just going to say, let's put a pin in it and get back to it. All right? All right. With this match, I'm setting up a match for the pay-per-view with Steve Regal and Steve Williams, because, you saw the pay-per-view card. It isn't that deep, so we need some other matches, and that's going to be one of the matches. Mike Awesome, Sid Vicious, Jimmy Hart, Eddie Guerrero. Actually, wait, Sid Vicious isn't in the feud. He should be, or he could be, but he isn't. Gene. Let's have it where Gene is interviewing one of them, and then the other comes out. Let me sandwich that down and put that there. Okay. So that'll be the first segment. This will be the first in-ring segment, and this will be also an in-ring segment, obviously. But and this will be the first one not involving not involving me and Gene. And don't worry, I'll remember what I want to say, and how I want to phrase it. But I just want to focus on what I'm booking and talk about what I'm doing with the booking rather than focusing on other things. God, the face roster sucks. I mean, do I do that? How about that instead? No, not a 5-way. 4-way. With 2 upper mid-carders and then 2 mid-carders. And why I decided this is because this way I could have 2 baby faces and not have to choose from the cruiserweight division. Because also I didn't want the match to include what you call it? I didn't want the match to include like I wanted it to be a balanced match rather than a one-sided affair where the fans only had one person to choose from to cheer for. So I wanted to make it, equal it. I wanted it to be equaled out. God, that's a mouthful. So that's why I chose to have that. Yeah, let's just do it like that. That's fine. You know what? What can I include? Oh, I can do a backstage, can I? Yeah. With Liz and Package talking about Sting. But I gotta build up the feud somehow, don't I? And then this would go right here as a backstage segment. We only got 12 minutes left to book, and of course, that 12 minutes will go to the main event. And even though it seems like I never know when I'm going to book in the main event, well, actually, wait, yeah, there's a reason for that. It's because usually I never know when I'm going to book in the main event. Actually, that's not something to laugh about, because that's kind of not good. Let's go Ric Flair, since he's not going to be booked at the pay-per-view. I know. Why book somebody in the main event if they're not going to be booked at the pay-per-view? I mean, it's because I wouldn't know what match to book at the pay. I wouldn't know what, but partly because of that, and because Ric Flair was booked last week. I mean, just look at all the main event matches. I just thought the way I book main events, or have booked main events in this, is whatever match is going to be better. I mean, whichever match I think is going to be the best. And speaking of a match that I thought would be better, the Cat beat Stevie Ray. And the reason for this one is Stevie Ray's a main eventer. Stevie Ray's also on time decline. I don't think Stevie Ray should be a main eventer anymore. That's why Stevie Ray won't be a main eventer anymore. Because I'm going to start pulling him down, and that's what you'll see in the next couple of weeks that we have left in this season. And then we move to the first in-ring segment, which starts as an interview between Eddie Guerrero and Gene Okerlund, or with Eddie Guerrero and Gene Okerlund, and then Eddie Guerrero is interrupted by Sid Vicious, who challenges him to a match for the United States title at the pay-per-view at Spring Stampede. And Jimmy Hart and Mike Awesome come out, and Jimmy Hart tells Eddie Guerrero that no matter what happens, 2 weeks ago is just a taste of what's to come from Mike Awesome. And as I mentioned before, so we're not going to really spend a lot of time on this now, this match was designed, and the finish was designed to spark the match to set up a rematch at the pay-per-view, possibly even involving being a tag team match. I don't know. Or maybe it's going to be a short feud. Odds are it's probably just going to be a pay-per-view match. But we'll see. This match was not designed to give Disco Inferno a pay-per-view match. It was designed to give Perry Saturn a tune-up match before the pay-per-view and his match against television champion Dave Finlay. And that's why he competed, because, well, he's going to be Dave Finlay's first challenger for the television title. And I know I mentioned this earlier that I don't know what to book anymore, and maybe this is the best indication of what of that being the case, that I don't know what to book anymore. That I just that most of the matches are just thrown together. I mean, in recent weeks, some of the matches haven't been thrown together. Some of the matches have had feud basis for their reasoning, and reasoning why you should care. Like, I also should have given Lance Storm a promo always next week before the match, to give him a little promo time to get heat on himself to get over. But, you know, maybe next time. And now we've moved to the in-ring with the NWO, as Roddy Piper tells Scott Steiner that because Roddy Piper isn't stupid, and at request of Hulk Hogan, the entire NWO is banned from ringside on Sunday for his World Heavyweight Championship match against the Hulkster. And that pisses the NWO off because, well, obviously, we're not stupid. That was going to make we were going to see an interference, because Piper says if the NWO interferes and gets Scott Steiner disqualified, then Scott Steiner will lose the WCW World Heavyweight Championship to Hulk Hogan. And the reasoning for this is, if you want to know how did this tie up logically, because this is usually in a rematch after the guy got disqualified, well, think about it. Who knows the NWO better than the guy who used to lead the NWO? The more you know. And now we move to the Fatal 4-Way, which, by the way, was for a title shot. It was for a title opportunity. The television title, to be exact. And that's because, and with that being the case, this means Kanyon is the #1 contender for the WCW Television Championship. And will face either Perry Saturn or Finlay for the television title. And now we head backstage with the Total Package and Liz as they build up Package's title shot match this Sunday against the Stinger, as Package and Liz discuss the history that Luger has with Sting. And wow, 25 minutes. And just how fast this match will end on Sunday, with Sting writhing in pain at the expense of the Total Package's torture rack. No, really nothing to this match other than the Filthy Animals getting a tune-up for the pay-per-view. And then we have Ray and Kidman grabbing the mic and just saying, this is a message to Chronic. Come Sunday, we want our titles back, and we're gonna get them. And Chronic just comes out, looks at them, and says, bring it. And then we move to the main event as Ric Flair goes up against Mang. And though some may think this is a disappointing main event, it actually, meh. It's a pretty meh main event. It's not good, not bad. We're not going to really know what's going on until... Okay, it was not so good, but not that bad. But we increased our popularity in 23 regions, and unfortunately lost popularity in 11, which means we still gained popularity. So as long as that's how it works, if that's not how it works, let me know down in the comment section so I can stop saying that. But a solid show. I mean, not terrible. Can't have a good show all the time. I mean, though it seems like I've been at a loss for words this entire video, what I was saying before was that, basically, coming into the year 2000, things weren't going very well for WCW, as most people know, or any fans of WCW at the time know. And basically, every nook, cranny, and crevice of the company needed to be overhauled. The announcing, the title pictures, the titles could have been overhauled too. But that's why from the start Bam Bam Bigelow has been Hardcore Champion, to add credibility to the Hardcore title, because you're gonna have a big beast of a man holding a title that, unlike WWE, is not 24/7. Why? Because if I'm having a Hardcore title too, why the hell am I gonna make it the same thing WWE has? I'm not gonna make it a carbon copy. Back in the day, the television title used to be the workhorse title for WCW. So instead of making the television title the workhorse title again, I gave the United States title that. And had I kept Chris Benoit and Eddie Guerrero could have been the first star-studded feud for the television championship But I chose not to. I chose not to keep Benoit, and I chose to give the title to Eddie the following night, and since then, Eddie's had somewhat of a lackluster run. I'll be honest, Eddie's had a lackluster run. But, overhauled, I brought it back to where it should have been. The shows needed an overhaul. That's why I got rid of Thunder and kept Saturday Night and Nitro, because I thought they only needed 2 shows, not 3. Back in the day, back in real life, WCW had Nitro, Thunder, Saturday Night, and Worldwide at this time. They had 4. They only needed 2. Yes, WWE had a few of them, but they handled it. WCW didn't. They needed to reset. And I don't mean reset by vacating all the titles, changing a creative direction. I mean they needed to reset by reshuffling the roster, bring new talent in, give people a chance to shine, to break out and show why WCW is good. You know, yes, you may say, oh what, Dean Malenko can't be better? Dean Malenko left WCW and within a year he was retired. So come on. You know, him going into the lightweight division, the cruiserweight division, gives it credibility again. And whoever he loses the belt to, whether it be Taka, whether it be somebody new like Lash LaRue or whoever, it doesn't matter. Why? Because it gives them credibility. You know, just like Hoovy. Whoever Hoovy dropped the belt to would have gained credibility because Hoovy's a 5-time cruiserweight champion. You know what I mean? You know, and that's why the television title now went on Norman Smiley. Why? Because I wanted to try something different. I wanted the TV belt to be for the people who've never won a title and never thought they would win a championship. I want it to be for those guys who winning a title could give them something. You know? Who could put them over the top and make them find their groove as champion. People say that the wrestler makes the title. Well, I believe in some cases, yes, the wrestler does make the title, but also the title can make the wrestler. Because if the title is credible and the wrestler steps up his game when he wins the belt, then the title made the wrestler. All I'm saying is, everything comes to an end, and this series is nearing the end. And I think that eventually I probably could have made it a little bit more stable. Could I have made it good? I think it would have taken over a year to make it good. Stable? I think I could do it, yeah. But I may also have to get lucky to make it stable. Because with the shape that it's in, I may need to be lucky. But either way, let me know in the comment section below what you've thought of this series so far, and when you would like to see this series come to a close. And if you'd like to see this series come to a close, let me know in the comment section below, because as always, feedback is more than welcomed and appreciated. But if you don't want to leave a comment, you could always leave a like, and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this that you can only find right here at Wrestling Express. Till next time. Later.